Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, and we are fired up for another episode of Coffee with Khalipa, a short format podcast where we dive into something that I'm thinking about this upcoming week. And of course, we do it while drinking a cup of coffee. Now, I'm drinking some straight up espresso, and I'm going to go ahead and do a shameless plug right now because it gets right into the subject of the day. I would love to try some beans. If you own a coffee company, direct message me on Instagram, send them my way, and I'll give you a shout out. Now, what is the topic of the day? The topic of the day is nobody owes me anything. And when no one owes you anything and you live your life in that way, it brings a lot of happiness and a lot of clarity. There was a lot of years for myself that I'd be doing things for people just because I wanted to, right? I mean, of course, I would help people out and do things. But I find myself every blue moon walking in a situation and being let down. And being let down because what I thought someone would do for me didn't end up happening. And after more reflection, and specifically after talking to Josh Bridges the other day on our podcast, he said to me, he's like, look, I used to be entitled. I used to walk around like with a chip on my shoulder. Everybody owed me something. And it used to make me, not feel good. Then one day he's like, you know what? I realized nobody owes me anything. It's up to me to create my own path, including my parents. And I was like, whoa, including your parents. And it was something I've been reflecting on a lot. Is that if I walk into every single situation, whether it's a charity event, whether it's the gym event, whether it's friends, family, whatever, and if I walk in with always a level playing field and always assuming that nothing's going to happen, it's just neutral, then I could be in a great state of mind if nothing does happen. But if I walk into a situation and I assume they owe me something, right? If I feel entitled, like, oh, I helped this friend move, now they owe me lunch, whatever, and lunch doesn't happen. Now all of a sudden I have animosity towards this person and it builds up. Instead, I should just assume I'm going to do things for people out of the kindness of my heart because, again, it's the right thing to do, and they don't owe me anything, and no one does. So an example of this, right? I've been putting out content for a long time for a lot of people, and then I released my book. Would I like someone to buy my book? Of course I'd like someone to buy my book. But at the same time, that's their decision and they don't owe me anything. I chose to put out all this content. I chose to do this, and they, again, don't owe me anything. I hope I've earned, the right that they would like to at least check it out, but I never assume that they will. And if I live my life like that, it just gives me a lot more happiness. And so the motivation for this week and what I'm fired up about is to recognize areas where I might be thinking to myself, oh, this person, owes me something. And it puts me in a state of kind of anger, and get rid of it. Every day, all day, no one owes me anything. That includes my parents, that includes my family. And if I could live that way, then I could really feel like I'm never let down. The sense of entitlement that some people have is extreme. Remove it. Let's get to work. I'll see you guys again next week for another episode of Coffee with Khalipa. And until then, go out there and crush it and have a phenomenal day.